This one's about interview skills. So it's just an introduction. It's just an overview of the way that we like to teach the interview skills so that you're matching what the employer is looking for. Because a lot of times what will happen is you go into an interview, they ask you a question, you answer it without any substance, without any story, without any sort of background to why you're answering it the way you're answering it. And what the employer is actually looking for is the substance. They want to know who they're hiring. They want to know the human being that's going to turn up for the job when they're doing the interview, be it over the phone or in front of you. So this is just an example of some of the questions that you might get along the way. Let's see if I can do this backwards. Mouse. So why do you want a job? That's in general, that one would be goal oriented, you know? Why do you want a job? Well, what do you want to do with your life? What's your purpose in life? What things matter to you? Why do you want this job? So that's more specific to the actual role you're going for. So that could have different answers depending on whether it's one of the willing to or one of the love to or like to, right? What can you tell me about the position you're applying for? What do you think that that question is trying to find out? But why would they want to know that? What are they trying to find out if you did or didn't do?
Like actually read the job requirements are tasks.
Yep. Researched it. Yeah, done some research, done a little bit of background, because a lot of employers right now, what they're getting is people on Centrelink who have to tick boxes and they're applying en masse for just whatever. Seek, yep, first 10 jobs, there's my 10, right? So that helps them sort of see if you're just ticking a box and you're just there because you have to be, or if you've actually taken the time to see what that company means and what their principles are. So again, same thing. Tell me about your company or the position. Those are finding out the same thing. Have you actually bothered? Are you actually interested in this job? What is your greatest strength and what is your greatest weakness? What do you think they're trying to find out with those two questions? Yep. So a bit more personality based. Because if they had someone, let's say the strength was admin, just to throw something in there. And everybody who came into that multifaceted business had a strength in admin, what would the problem be? You'd be missing all the people to do the jobs to give the admin something to do, right? Or if you had someone whose strength was being a people person and getting along with everybody, but what if everybody in that place was that? Yeah, these are personality based. How do you answer it? How do you back yourself? The question we're going to work with is that weaknesses one, because it's a really good general example of how to answer a question that the interviewer is answering in a way that what they're looking for.
Yeah. So can I just ask you,
yeah.
That was your greatest strength and greatest role, and then you mentioned admin.
Yep.
Is that actually an answer you give, or
it's just what rolled off the top of my head?
Do they want more? I've not done many interviews, and I'm sorry about it. Interviews, I already know it. But
that you're in the right place.
Yeah, I'll just be so nervous. I'll just be feeling like me.
No, it's a good pickup. It probably wasn't the best thing to roll off of my tongue as an example. They're looking personality.
Yeah.
So what is your strength? My strength is that I've got a good attention to detail. Okay. What is your strength? My strength is that I show up on time and that I'm reliable. Or my strength is that I'm a problem solver and I can see things that are doing, or I'm a proactive worker. Okay. The weakness one is an interesting one because, you know, how are you going to present what your weakness? So we'll have some fun with that one because it's a fun one to do. That's the one we'll actually work with. And what else have we got? Why should I hire you instead of all the applicants? That one's definitely a potential question that you get asked. Yep. So what thing are they going to learn about you with that one?
Well, I feel like they might get a how confident you are.
Confidence. Yeah. Yeah, because how you approach that question is definitely going to give them a measure of whether you back yourself
Yeah.
or whether you don't. What else have we got? What are your goals over the next 3 years? So they're trying to think, are you just there for $1 and you're going to be gone in 5 minutes? Or do you have actually something that you're working towards and you're going to stick with this because it has some, so even working in the kitchen in Optus, if you have a clear link that you're going to get all this experience and in front of people and connections and confidence building that is going to help you be a zookeeper later in charge, then you're kind of more willing to show up for work.
Yeah. But would you
Yeah.
on that? Because at the same time, what I sort of thought is like, you can't really tell them like, well, yeah, as soon as this other thing comes along, see you later. Like,
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So one example might be my interviewing for this job here. Because it is very closely linked, I could take this job and then go and pilfer you guys into my own
Yeah.
program, right? So there is that, well, you want to do something with your life. That's what I'm doing. Why would I hire you? You might end up being my competition.
Yeah.
But do you guys see how much value I am to him because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing? He knows I'm going to turn up. He knows. Yep. So when I'm in the interview with that one, I had to sell it in a way that didn't say I'm going to be out of here in 3 years. So my goal in 3 years is I would like to buy a house to be able to have, the security of not going through this rental fiasco every 1 to 3 years, having, especially right now, I've just been through it. Right. So, yeah.
And then could you also like sort of say, maybe mention like, and hopefully one day, that is the job example, like make it look like maybe your ego is to like work in Zoo or something, but then sort of pretend or maybe like that. Sort of say, yeah, well, one day I want to be a facility manager somewhere else, then you sort of say maybe be a facility manager here.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I get what you're saying, because then if you're saying that to the actual facility manager, it's probably not the best.
Yep. So let's actually have a play with that one since it's what's come up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do it on here. Again, we're breaking things down into a what do you call it? A format, right? Which is the STAR format in this sense. You'll run into this. You might see a STAR format with different letters to a different thing. It's just the acronyms make it easier to remember things. So we're going to use the 3-year goal. And the situation is that you want to be a zookeeper, facility manager, and a trainer, mobile plant. Right? And the job that you're going for is Optus, is a lab, is bartending. Okay, because I want to go with the ones that aren't so much linked. All right, so let's say you're going into a willing to job, you're interviewing for it. They say, what's your 3-year goal? And you're at Optus Stadium saying my 3-year goal is I want to be a zookeeper. Or you're in the lab saying my 3-year goal is to be a facility manager in a wildlife or domestic animal, rescue place. I'm bartending, but I want to be a trainer in there. Okay. So when you get to task, very much drawing on what we've just done with those goals, right? So again, what are you getting from that? The task is like the meat of it. What have you learned, right? What did you get from what you did? And in this case, we're talking goals, right? You don't want to scare the employer off by saying, I'm out of here as soon as I get what I'm getting. So what you would want to do is link it for them. Okay. My 3-year goal, I really want to be a zookeeper. Okay. We're just using those as a 3-year. I know you said 10 years, but we're going 3 years for these ones. Okay. I want to be a zookeeper, facility manager, training mobile plant. While I'm working at Optus, while I'm here working in Optus for the next 3 years, I'm going to learn everything that I need to know to be able to step into that role. I'm not going to learn the animal side of things, but I'm going to learn the business side of things. Hospitality is that kind of place that you learn work ethic. Okay. So I'm going to spend the next 1 to 3 years getting a really solid work ethic, learning how to deal with people, and how to show up. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's the biggest problem that employers have right now, is the showing up part. 10 people apply, 0 show up. 10 people interview, 2 get through, none show up. That's what's going on. So the big problem for employers right now is the show up.
Even after they've said, oh, you got the job.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. I didn't
yeah,
realize
5
that.
of you got the job, show up Monday, don't show.
Oh, okay.
Right? So the task in this situation with the 3-year goal is about convincing them why they don't want to get you on and you're gone in 5 months, 3 months, 2 months. They want you to stay. So you would sell that in, I have these goals. And right now my focus is learning how to be a worker, learning how, what all those little jobs are that need being done, learning the planning, problem solving, funding. Because funding is huge in the research area, isn't it? Yeah, so, yeah, I'm perfectly happy to work in the lab here for 1 to 3 years, because at the same time, I'm learning valuable skills. I'm earning the income that I need to be able to step into that role, because I'm not ready yet, right? And people skills, multitasking, connections, right? Tori? Because that's really what you're going to be getting out of that. And you say to them, I want to be a training, I want to be doing that, but right now I need to get my confidence, and bartending is going to give you that confidence. Have you ever seen a meek little bartender? Oh, what would you like? You know, they're not there the next time you come to work. Next time you go to that bar, like, come out of the toilet, they're gone, right? Because you can't do that job without learning confidence. So, and connecting with people and all that. So I'm going to add confidence to that one, and I'm going to add confidence to that one. Okay, so then we move to action. So these things here are, we're like getting, this isn't the answer you're going to give yet. It's forming the answer. It's the meat that you're going to make into the answer. So what is your 3-year goal, right? These things are really, really important in being the zookeeper. I'm going to bring my leadership skills, learn confidence, to be confident, and I see this as a 1 to 3 year job. I'm not going anywhere in the next year, but I can see myself here in 3 years. Okay, because like you said in the question there, you don't want to scare them away with your answer to that. If I walk into these going, I want a 100-acre property, you know. But with a goal question, they're wanting to see that you have something that you're working towards. You could even, how much time is this going to take up of your life? Yeah. Once you're in that role, you're pretty time poor. So we might just want to enjoy some income, right?
Yes.
Because what are you there? You're doing a job for them, and what are they doing for you for it?
Yeah.
Here's have some money.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right? There's a benefit there, isn't there? So nothing wrong with saying that you're there for the money as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is definitely part of the thing. That's really a lot, like I just said, that is the big problem that they're having. They get no staff, knowing that. All right, so confidence, connection, all those things. Okay, so then when you get to the point of what are you actually going to say, right? So ask me the question, what's your 3-year goal? My 3-year goal is to really, really work on my work ethic, showing up, what it means to be a part of a team, from the inside. Eventually, I want to be a zookeeper. All these skills are going to do that, but I can't, I'm not there yet. I need 1 to 3 years. This is the perfect job for me to get those skills. Therefore, you've got me for 1 to 3 years.
That's such a good answer, the way you just said it.
Right? So what about the facility manager working in a lab? Okay, 3-year goal. I want to be the facility manager of a domestic rescue animal center. But to do that, I need to learn planning, problem solving, funding. You know, funding is a big one. Working in here is giving me the foundation that I need for doing that in 3 years. Same thing in there. Yeah. So you would say my 3-year goal to become a trainer, mobile plant. 3-year goal for you might be to be working full-time, operating a mobile plant, because me as a trainer, I can't come train something I don't have experience in, right? But we're talking about the unrelated job. So the unrelated would be my 3-year goal is to get into full-time mobile plant operations. At the moment, working in this pub for the next 1 to 3 years is going to give me those connections. I'm going to run into people. There's people coming in that actually do that job and can direct me towards it. Boom, you've got a reason, a good, solid answer. Let's look at the strengths. So this person, strength that they bring, excellent time management, attention to detail, ability to build rapport. Do you know what rapport is? That's what I'm doing, building rapport, making you guys feel like like you matter. So relationship building, basically. Task, that's my proof. Now I worked in the state elections, had to jump in supervisor account table, had to deal with people who were from all different areas, doing a task that was very, very difficult, aware of the needs of the counting crew. Just to set the scene, has anyone ever worked counting in any of the elections? Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's such an interesting experience. So the fact that I could build rapport quickly, I had 4 strangers I'd never worked with before, and I had to make sure they could handle that situation and didn't freak out because I was a table supervisor. So my strength of building rapport, I've got proof here, don't I, in the answer that I give. So in a previous role as a table count supervisor, recent state election, I was able to maintain calm and efficient work environment under difficult, stressful situations. We had scrutineers watching our every move, and having a cohesive team was of the utmost importance. We had to ensure to keep alert, mistakes weren't being made. We were working quickly so we didn't held up the rest. And due to the efficiency and the system, now see, I've told them 2 of my skills there. Due to the efficiency and working to a system. So that in my answer is telling them that one of my strengths as well is finding an efficient way to do things and, following a system. So my weakness, right? Not that one, that's someone else's. So my weakness is, what's my weakness, Tori? You remember? Okay, I'm one of the most lazy people that you will ever meet. I said before, bring on COVID. I'm happy to stay in my room. I'll have naps. I'll play with my computer. I'll play a little Grand Theft Auto. I'll do a little research. I'll jump on YouTube. I'll do some of my assessments.
Can you say that that's also a great strength because you turn it into being able to finish your task efficiently and sort of.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, like you mean like because you're lazy, you're trying to find the best way to do it the quickest way and all that. Okay. That's a cool skin. That as your weakness.
Yeah, that's the point,
Yeah.
right? So the situation is, what is your weakness? My weakness is that I'm one of the most lazy people you meet. Now, to give this answer, you need to actually be able to own it.
Yeah.
I can own this, but unless you can own it, you wouldn't give this answer. Okay?
Like you have to,
Yeah, you absolutely need to make sure that you can spin it. Okay? So mine is that I'm lazy. And what that means is I'm always looking for the fastest way to a result. I'm always refining my process. And I'm also quite systems oriented. I don't like not working to a system. I like a system. I systemize everything that I do in my Vibe program, everything I do in my Joyride program. As soon as I finish delivering it, I go back and check over it. see what worked, see what didn't work, decide what I want to do next time and adjust my process. I was given a processes sheet when I first started here. And when I followed it, I found that it actually put me behind. It gave me too much time to do things. And I got to the final week and I was like, I haven't done this, I haven't done this, I haven't done this. And we had all this stuff to finish.
Yeah.
So I went and went, okay, no, this needs to get knocked off straight off the top.
Yeah.
And then rewrote it. And then every single month that I deliver that program, there's a new process document from what I got from it before. Because
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I do not want to get to week 3 of a 4-week program and have all this work to do.
Yeah.
I want to find the quickest way to get it done to the highest level.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting corners.
Yeah.
I'm not taking shortcuts. I'm not sidetracking so that you guys don't get, but I get paid. It's how do I get you guys the best result? The quickest way. It means that I'm always finding better ways. And what's one other thing that this might say that I've got to offer? How is that weakness a benefit to the employer?
It's something that most employees would actually really value, which is obviously someone that's going to be efficient or help with their systems or protocols or whatever, like just help them run better and become even more efficient.
Yeah. Problem solving systems. So when I get to the part of delivering this, you ask me the question, what's my weakness? How does it benefit? They're not always going to say, and how does it benefit the role?
Yeah.
They're just going to say what I did that to make sure that you get that every answer has to be of benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you ask me, what is the weakness? Weakness is I'm the most lazy person you'll ever meet. When I say it like that, it gets attention. If you've been interviewing 20 people and they've gone, oh, my weaknesses, I don't show up on time, and that's the end of it, or my weaknesses, or my
Well, you say
weaknesses.
perfection, right? Like, I mean, and that's like a smart one, but I feel like
Yeah.
now I've heard that so many people say, well, one of my weaknesses is that I'm such a perfectionist.
But as a benefit, you as the employer know that things are going to get done with me on your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weakness because I take responsibility of too many tasks,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's a benefit to the employer.
Yeah.
Now, you can take another step out. The employer needs to mitigate that. Because just because I'm the person that can't say no or takes too much responsibility doesn't mean that it should always be my job. You're going to burn out that person, right? But that's not what the question is. The question is just, what's your biggest weakness? So I would be answering it in that way, that it really sells the fact that having me as the lazy person on your team is an absolute benefit because I'm always finding the best way to do things. I'm always in my head refining things. I hate backtracking. If you're going to give me a job that has backtracking in it, I'm not going to be okay. And you're not going to be okay because I'm always going to be going, oi, this could be done better. Okay, so one other point that I want to make is that all of these, every time you get this question, whatever you choose, every time you get that question, you answer the same. Okay? So now the caveat to that is your goals might change a bit over time. Your job specific answer might change a little bit, but at the essence, what you want is to pick your story for each question and stick with it. And then what I recommend you do is go, especially with these ones here, when was the time? When did you have a situation that you can frame into a question? And then all you do is get better at telling that story every time. What you need to do is work out what story you're going to tell. How do you deal with conflict? I was working in the gym. There was a girl who didn't like the fact that I would come into work and just get things done. So I'd show up for my shift at 6 a.m. We'd have a list of 10 things that need to do on the shift. And I would just get into work and start knocking off the things for the shift. She'd come in at 8:30. All the jobs on the list are done. So what does that mean for her? She's a gym instructor. She can go and talk to customers. She can go and build relationships. She can go and find something else to clean. It's a gym. There's always something, right? But the problem was she felt that I was actually trying to show her up. She felt like I was actually trying to make her look bad. So we got called into the office to sit down and have a meeting with the manager.
Why is that? Because she didn't play with him.
Yeah. So the conflict at work was the staff member who had a problem with me being an efficient worker, right? Had to just deal with it, sat down in the office with the managers, explain my side, explain their side. But I also saw her point a little bit
But
because
what's her actual complaint? Sorry, I'm
that I was just get, yeah, it was real, it was really weird. Literally was just, she's doing all the work and leaving nothing for me to do. But there's always something to do. That's your you problem, not a me problem. But how I resolved it was I recognized where my part in it was, and that maybe some of the interpersonal relationship was actually on me. And it wasn't just about me just doing the job. So as a result, I took on board that. I never made friends with her. I never, she's not on my friends list. We don't keep contact with each other outside of work. But as a result, the relationship just kind of, okay, that's where you're coming from. That's where I'm coming from. Let's just work together. Okay, so every single time I get that question in an interview, that same answer is what comes out. Okay. And all I do is get better at delivering it each time. Sometimes it comes out great. Sometimes it comes out blah, blah. Sometimes it's too short, not usually. Most times it's too long. And what I do is go, okay, what did I do well? I flub how I delivered that. The other thing with it is always use a real situation. Because do you have any doubt that that happened?
No.
Okay, either of those stories, do you have any doubt? Were any of you there? No? Was anyone there that can confirm whether that's how it played out or not? Yep, and it's believable because it's real. Those situations happened. If I tried to tell you something that wasn't real, you'd feel it. You'd be like, oh, something's just not quite right there. So if I tried to make something up to get the right answer in there, it just wouldn't work. Right? There would be that mismatch. So yeah, just the biggest advice with that is just go through and choose your story. Is that cool? So if I asked you what your weakness is, what would you say? So the weakness is too quiet. Now, task-wise, first of all, how is it good that you're a bit quiet? What else does it mean that you're too quiet? In a good way. How is it good? Focus. Okay, so the weakness is I'm a bit quiet. It's good because it means that I've got good listening skills. I'm actually taking in what you're saying along the way. Focus on the task. Because we're talking about the Optus job, right? So if you're in there interviewing for the Optus job, and they say to you, what's your weakness? And you say, your weakness is that I'm a little bit quiet. But what that means is I'm actually paying a lot of time listening. I can focus on the task you give me. And I know that it's a weakness of mine. So I'm actually working in this kitchen to work on, let's say, improving confidence and ability to speak up. Because I can tell you right away, working in a kitchen is going to push those skills, right? So if you approach this question in this context, my weakness is that I'm a bit quiet. It's good for you because I'm listening when you're training me. I'm paying attention to what's going on and I'm able to focus on a task. And I also recognize that it's an area that I need to improve on. I'm working in this kitchen. I'd like to work in this kitchen because I know that I'm going to be able to improve that area of confidence, right? That area of being able to speak up. You can't be quiet in the kitchen. You have to step out of that in the kitchen. It will force you to, because if you're just quiet, you'll end up doing all the work. Everyone, oh, this guy's not going to say anything. Just here you go, you do this, you do this. You'll come to a point where it'll be like, oi, enough. No, I've been here long enough now. I know what needs to be done. You who've never worked here before, don't know what to do in a kitchen. You can go do this and you'll be able to speak up because you'll actually have that confidence behind you of doing it, right? So you're making the link for them directly. Yeah, my weakness is the quiet, but duh, that's why I'm here, right? I'm coming into your kitchen to overcome this. That's a selling point for them. They actually see a reason for you being there. Cool. That's where you go, okay, ask me the question. Here's my answer. What did I do well? What could I have done better? What will I do next time? Let's go and write down the actual words. So the challenge on you guys' part to take away from this is to go, okay, I'm going to sit down and work on these things. There's the guts. Doesn't matter how it comes out because it's not going to go into the sentence. And then go, okay, my weakness is that I'm too quiet, and working in the kitchen will make me speak up, right? So that's where you can start with that. And then what you do is you deliver it, you see what comes out, you come back to your sentence and you refine it. Just like, you know, the call center people that you get the telemarketer calls back in the day when that used to happen, they're working to a script, aren't they? They're saying the exact same words every time. So every interview you get is just an opportunity to get better at answering those questions. And if you do this with a few, even if you really nut it out with just one or two of the questions, what you'll find is whatever question they ask you, take a second, think about it, come up with an answer, because you already have this. They're not just looking for this. No, give them a story. Tell them who you are. Sure. Don't tell a massive long story, but keep it relevant and pick something that you can use again and again. Because if you just have the trigger of what is a conflict that you've had at work, where's the time you've gone over and above for a customer? Make sense? Awesome. Did you get some value out of that?
Yes.
Yep. Did you get some value out of that doing it again? Any questions?